Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the last trip recap in the trip recap series that I've been doing here on my channel and on my blog. So today I'm talking about a trip that I've actually already done a recap for. It's the trip that we took in November of 2016. I did a recap very shortly after we got back in November of 2016, so I thought it would be fun to still do this one to see how it compares to like what I remembered then versus what I still remember now. So this trip was in November 2016. It was me, my mom, my dad, my sister, her worker Megan, Ethan, Ethan's mom, Ethan's dad, Ethan's brother, and then we were also joined by my friend Haley for a few days. But it was a big trip and probably my favorite trip to date. So we stayed at the Polynesian. It was our first trip as Disney Vacation Club members, and we used a year and a half, like a year and like not a half, but a year and almost a half worth of points to stay in the Polynesian in the Disney Vacation Club rooms. So we had 4 rooms between the 9 of us, the deluxe studios, and it was a great trip. So I like kind of wrote down stuff, but I also want to see if I can do this without looking. So I'm going to talk and then I'll look down and cover anything that I didn't finish. So I planned this trip like 100%. I made all the FastPass Plus reservations, I made all the dining reservations, I figured out where we were going to be on what day, and I feel like for that reason I still know this trip pretty well. So let me walk you through this trip. I feel like this is the only trip that I can do like day by day what we did. So we flew out of Toronto in around like 10 a.m. So we were in Orlando just after 12. We got the Magical Express to the Polynesian, and that day we were going to Magic Kingdom. I remember like walking into the Polynesian. I had been to the Polynesian before, but I don't really remember like the lobby or anything like that. We did breakfast at Ohana on my second trip to Walt Disney World. But yeah, I don't really remember it. So like walking in was like, this is our home resort, this is home. Being like, you can see the castle through, because there's big windows at the back of the resort that you can see Cinderella Castle. Checking in. I think only a few of our rooms were ready because we had 4 rooms that we got changed and ready to go, and then went to Magic Kingdom. And I never thought that I was going to be that person that teared up or cried walking into Magic Kingdom, but that time I did. And I think it was partially because I had been planning this trip for so long. The last time we were there was February of 2015, so it was like a year and a half of not being at the parks, which is always hard. Like, sounds really stupid, but it's hard not being there, especially with social media and seeing pictures of it every day and stuff like that. And by then I have my blog, so I was posting pictures almost every day, trying to at least. But I remember tearing up seeing like the Christmas decorations. It's the first time I've ever been during like the holiday season. It was awesome. That day we got Alex's disability accessibility service card. I think that was what it's called. So we walked down Main Street and then we walked back to get that set up for her. So basically they took her picture and scanned the magic bands of everyone in our party, and we were good to go for the entire trip. So one of us could run and get a comeback time for the entire party. Just Alex's band had to scan first. So we did that. We had dinner at Crystal Palace at like, I think it was like 4 or 5, and I just remember like sitting there, seeing the castle, being like, you're finally here, and so happy. we saw Wishes actually for the last time, not knowing that it was going to be the last time. Cried, obviously. Saw the castle lighting before Wishes. Cried, obviously. Ethan and I saw Once Upon a Time for the first time, and we got engaged that night. So obviously this trip was really special, and it was fun to celebrate that for the trip. The next day we went to Animal Kingdom. We had dinner at Tusker House, which we loved, and Goofy loved Alex. I have a picture that I'll put in of him like leaning up against the doorway, like with his legs crossed looking at her, and it's like one of my favorite pictures, and he held her hand as she left. And the characters are always amazing with Alex. It just warms my heart. And that was the first time I'd been at Animal Kingdom after dark. It was before Rivers of Light had premiered. It was supposed to be done like earlier that year, and it got delayed, and I was really sad that we missed it only by a few months. But it was the first time seeing the Tree of Life Awakening, and we stayed till probably like 8, and then went back to the hotel, and my sister and her support worker just stayed in for the night, and the rest of us went to Trader Sam's. Brought that home, got the OA. That was really fun. The next morning, Ethan had actually surprised me with like Disney and my parents, Disney Fine Art Photography, a portrait session at the Polynesian for engagement pictures. So I'll pop some of those pictures in, but we had to get up really early, and that was like our relax at the hotel day because we were going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party that night. Haley met up with us that day. I remember seeing her across the lobby in the Polynesian and running, and because I had already messaged her that we were engaged, and then just like chatting back as we took her back to our room just to hang out for a bit, and she came to lunch with us at Kona Cafe, which was really good. And then we went to Magic Kingdom around 4 because that's when you can get in. If you want to see 10 tips for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, I will put it up in a card there for you, which I learned from going that day. The Christmas party was awesome. I love Christmas, and like experiencing that at Magic Kingdom was amazing. I am so happy I did it. It was something I'd always wanted to do, and it was awesome. Seeing the parade was amazing. I vlogged that trip too, so I will link the playlist of the vlogs from that trip too. But then the next day we went to Epcot, and we rode Soarin' Around the World for the first time, and I cried, obviously. You guys, I just love Disney so much, if you can't tell. But we did that. We did Frozen Ever After for the first time, and I love Sven, so I loved that. We ate at Tapan Edo for dinner, and they were really accommodating for all the dietary restrictions. My sister was on a puree diet at that point, and they were awesome. Ethan and I are pescatarians, so we eat fish but not meat, so they made sure to cook ours first before the meat, which was really awesome, and it was just a fun little show. We had the table to ourselves, and Haley was there that day as well, and we saw Illuminations. I remember we were in the park that day from like pretty much open to close. So we were tired when we got back, and Food and Wine was on. It was like the last week of that, I think. So we enjoyed sampling some food that day. We would split up for a little bit and then meet back up. The next day we went back to Magic Kingdom. I remember it was really hot that day. That was the day we did Splash Mountain, and we did it twice. I'll put those ride pictures in because they're perfect. But yeah, that was fun. That's my favorite ride at Walt Disney World, actually. I feel like you get a good value for your time on that because it's like a 10-minute ride. And we had fast passes. We did the riverboat. What else did we do? And we left early that day. We missed Festival of Fantasy this trip because they were filming the Christmas parade, the Christmas parade and like the shows. The stage shows, so the parade was later in the day. But we had like early dinner reservations at Ohana at the Polynesian, so it was nice to like go back to the resort, change, go for dinner, and just kind of hang out at the resort that night, which that dinner was awesome. And the bread pudding, like, I still have, like, dreams of that. It's so good. If you go, make sure to eat the dessert, save room for dessert, because it's so good, and I don't normally like bread pudding. And then that night we actually watched the Holiday Wishes, the Christmas party fireworks from the beach, and it was cold. It was really cold. I remember I couldn't feel my feet for a while after that, but it was okay. It's November, so it was hot during the day and then it cools down, but as long as you're prepared for that. And then I remember going in the hot tub. My dad had like wine or something in a cup, and he went to get into the hot tub and he missed a step, but he like held his wine up that he went under, and the wine was fine. That it was funny. And then the Friday we did Epcot in the morning, so we did Soarin' again, Frozen Ever After again, and tasted like other stuff at Food and Wine, and then we walked through International Gateway, which I had never been through or to, and stopped a little bit on the boardwalk for drinks and snacks and kind of worked our way around there, and went to lunch at Beaches and Cream, which was so much fun. It was tight because it's a fairly small space and there were 9 of us, including a wheelchair, but it was still so much fun, and the No Way Jose is really good. I like want to go back because I want to try something different, but I feel like it'd be hard to not get the No Way Jose because it was so good. And then we continued walking to Hollywood Studios, which I've never walked from one park to another. So that was fun, and we did Toy Story Mania, we did Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, we saw Fantasmic. What else did we do? I don't even think I ate dinner because I was so full from Beaches and Cream. Yeah, I don't think I did. And we watched the Star Wars fireworks, which I didn't think were gonna happen, and I remember that morning watching like the TV that says like all the park hours, TV channel, and it said that they were on, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited, and so we watched those, and I remember, I'll see if I can find the clip from the Disney vlog, because I remember like walking down Sunset Boulevard, like the street that Rock and Roller Coaster and stuff are on, like coming out of Fantasmic, and the cast members going, cover your ears, and like we're like, why? And then it's like the beginning of Star Wars music and fireworks, and it was awesome. I was very happy to see that. Then we went back, and then the next morning we headed to Disney Springs. First time going to Disney Springs as Disney Springs. Walked around there for a little bit, did some shopping most likely, I think. I realized I forgot something that I'm going to go back to Tuesday. And then Ethan and I decided that we wanted to go back to Magic Kingdom. First I had like to go from Morimoto, Asia. I had to go sushi from there, and then we split a pizza from Blaze Pizza. Both good choices, some of the many amazing food choices now available at Disney Springs, but those are the only ones that we can speak to personally. And then we decided to go back to Magic Kingdom. That was probably the busiest I've ever seen Magic Kingdom. There was a massive, like, back to Space Mountain line for the People Mover. It was just like wall-to-wall people. We went, and that's the only time I've ever been in Magic Kingdom and not done an attraction or show. We just walked around, and I made sure that Ethan got a picture of me in my Tangled shirt in front of the Tangled Tower. We got some pictures on Main Street and went up to the train station, and I was pretty much crying, saying goodbye to Magic Kingdom, because I don't know when I'm going to be back, and it's really sad, and I feel like a part of me, is there that, like, I don't know, there's just something about it that I feel so special when I'm there, and I just miss it. It's really hard not being there, and I know that some people only go once in their lives, and I'm lucky to have been 9 times, but I just always want to go back. I just always pulls me back, and I know there's so much change coming and so much change has happened since we were there, but I miss it and I really want to go back. Heading back to Tuesday, the one thing that I forgot to talk about was it was before lunch, before I met up with Haley, we actually walked to the Grand Floridian because that is one of my favorite resorts, and just saw them building the gingerbread house, and I went to Basin and picked up some bath bombs, and I just like needed to see that resort because I love it. Ever since they stayed there on Full House, I've loved it. But that's all I remember, so let's see. Yep. Oh, we had lunch at Be Our Guest on the Thursday, so that was our first time having lunch there, and it was the first time anybody but Ethan and I had eaten there. I meant to order in advance, but I just it was a lot to coordinate so many people, but Alex did get a free cup because we forgot to order it, that somebody gave her one. That was very nice of them. It was a trip that we knew we were going to take about a year in advance, and it was a lot to organize, but I feel like just how much I know about the parks and everything, I was the right person to organize it, and I got a lot of thank yous for doing that for everybody, but I enjoyed it so much, and it's a trip that we're going to remember for a really long time. Like, I'm just looking behind us and there's a picture from that trip on the wall over there. There's one over there. I got that there. Got Cogsworth up there from that trip. Yeah, it was a really special trip, and I feel like when Ethan and I have kids, if that happens, to be able to take them into Magic Kingdom and to like find the spot where he proposed, to be like, this is where this happened. Like, I feel that's really cool. And to be honest, I didn't think he was gonna propose in a park. I thought he was gonna do it like in the hotel room or something. Had a feeling it was gonna happen, but I was surprised that it happened in the park. And I wouldn't trade it. And yeah. So I don't really know what else to say about that trip, but I still remember it really well, and I think that comes from like having vlogs of it and so many pictures, and just it was a really good trip, and it was fun to go with so many people because Disney is great at accommodating large groups. But I feel like this trip recap has been a lot longer than all of them because I remember this trip so well. But I hope you guys enjoyed the series. It was one that it'd been on my list for a really long time, and it just kept getting pushed back, and I don't know why. But sometimes you have blog posts and videos that like you want to do, but you just aren't feeling it, and so I've pushed it back, but I'm glad that I finally shared all of them with you, and I hope that you enjoyed them. Let me know if there's something that you remember from one of your Disney trips in the comments below. And yeah, maybe there'll be a different trip announcement coming. Maybe. Probably. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.